Hey guys, this feels so awkward because I have been gone for so long. I kind of toyed around with like making shorts, but I just don't think that I enjoy making shorts at all. Like, I love watching shorts. A lot of times I really love watching shorts, but like when I try to conceptualize how to make my content into a short, I just get stuck. I just get utterly completely stuck. And so like I like the ones where you like put music and stuff behind. So like if you do like TikTok, you put the music behind, but you can't easily transfer it and share it with the music that you chose to other platforms because I guess other platforms only support certain music. It was, and then like the time frame on them, it was just getting way too messy. I didn't enjoy it, so I just didn't do that. Anyways, it's just been a real lot. Like ever since September of last year, it has just been a lot. One thing after the other, lots of busy life stuff. And then me just trying to constantly reset and get a handle on organizing things that I need to do. And it's like I can never catch up, and there's never enough time in the day. I've really missed making videos and I've missed talking about books. So I figured that this mid-year freakout tag is a really good way to kind of break into making videos again. So before we get into the questions, let's go over some quick stats. So I set my Goodreads goal to 100 books as I usually do every single year. Whether or not I feel that that's achievable for me, I strive to get to or at least close to 100 books a year. I think that's an ideal goal, even though at least in the past few years it's been unattainable to me, but I really don't let that affect me. At this time, July 7th, I am on 31 books out of the 100. I am in the middle of two books. I have this one, Angel Fall, which I'm probably, what is that, a third of the way through. But it's a pretty quick read. I believe I'll be finishing this by the end of the week. And then I'm also reading Dungeon Crawler Carl for my in real life. I would say, I think I'm about 50% of the way through that, but it's a lot bigger book. That one I have to finish. I think our next meeting is on the 14th. So I have like another full week to finish that book. So I better get on that because I've been kind of stalling on that one. So Goodreads tells you how many books off track you are. So this puts me 20 books behind schedule. So I probably won't be able to catch up and read 100 books unless I go on a manga reading binge, then maybe I can get closer. I really wish that I had been making videos throughout the year because this year has been really unique and I really wanted to try to do a couple things a whole lot different, and I have implemented those practices. I just haven't been able to share them with the internet, but it's definitely made this year's reading journey so much different, so much more fun. I created a reading challenge, which I call the 5-star reading challenge. I did post a video. It's a short reel of the prompts in it, but I think I might redo it. It's just because I have such a late start in the year, it kept feeling like the wrong time. Like there's this like unspoken feeling in my head that the time to start reading challenges is at the beginning of the year. And so because we're so far past the beginning of the year, it just felt like, well, it's too late now. And just these kind of false rules in my head. I don't even know. My reading challenge has 12 prompts and there's literally no rules. You don't have to do all the prompts. You can put one prompt on repeat. It doesn't really matter. I think it's a really great reading challenge. It just kind of, it's more like tips, finding your next 5-star tips challenge. So you can kind of pick whichever prompt you feel is going to be the most helpful to finding your next 5-star book. And that's the entire purpose of the reading challenge I created, because in the last few years, I feel like the number of favorites to unfavorites or forgettable books just has been disproportionate to what I think reading should be. I feel like that sounded really convoluted. So most of the time you want to read books that are your favorites, that you're really loving reading, right? But I feel like in the past few years, especially last year, it's like books that I walked away at the end of the year thinking, wow, I'm so glad I read this. This was an amazing book. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop talking about it. I just didn't have many of those at all from last year. And I'm just like, this is pathetic. Why do I even read? Something had to be done, right? And I had to really self-reflect on like, why am I having this experience? Why is this happening? And it's because these books that I'm really, really excited about, for whatever reason, I keep putting them on the back burner, waiting for the ideal time to pick them up. And that's just really stupid. The other thing that I did is I started a TBR jar. Again, this is not new. I did one last year as well that I shared, and I love doing TBR jars. I don't know what it is. I just really love doing them. And so I created another TBR jar. And I did start off the year doing a couple pulls from the jar, but those videos never made it to the internet because I just could not find the time to like edit the videos, or I wasn't happy with the production. I started getting really messed up and disorganized because I was like trying to play catch up, and then I felt overwhelmed because there was just too much to do because I was trying to do all that while managing my other stuff in my life. And so I was just like, this is stressing me out. I have to just quit. I have to stop. That is a big reason why I've been really trying to put videos out, but they're not making it. And these are some of the hurdles that I've been going through. So I do have the TBR jar, and I have done a few readings from it. So last year I had specific colors, and this year I have no specific colors, because at the end of the day, I figure whatever I pull out, no matter what genre it is, I've made a point that I'm going to read it. So, I have no idea at this point, based off color, what I'm picking out of it. And I kind of love the color scheme anyways. I love the colors that it gives off sitting on my shelf like this anyways. I had a bunch of what is it called? Scrapbooking paper, like little pieces and stuff. So I just took those and used them for my jar. So I'm hoping that this video doesn't just stop at this video and I keep making more videos throughout the rest of the year. So we might be revisiting that for future videos. I actually have a completely un-BookTube related video that I've been working on. It's going well, so hopefully it makes it to the internet, but it's completely unrelated. It is DIY project. That's something else that's been on my to-do list all year. I finally carved out time in the last few days to actually put it together and do it. Okay, so let's finally jump into the tag. I knew it. I knew I was gonna get a freaking phone call. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the questions for the mid-year book Freakout challenge. Tag. Fuck, I can't talk. The first one is going to be the Shepherd King series. We have One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. And it's really hard to explain this series. It's wholly unique. The magic system follows these cards, and basically the elites have access to these cards, and they can access this magic by tapping the card. However, magic does have a price, and the more that they use it, the more there is a negative effect towards it. And all of it slowly gets unraveled as you read through the series. I think that's kind of all I want to say about it at this moment, because I am going to get into another question where I talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, this series was so incredible. I buddy read it with a friend. I think it's an incredible candidate to buddy read with a friend, because it's this mystery and this puzzle, and you constantly have these questions that start popping up, and then some questions get answered and then other questions pop up, and it's just it just keeps you on your toes. It's so incredibly unique. The next one is The Shield of Sparrows and the Rights of the Starling. And this is a creature feature fantasy romance series, and it just really, really grabbed my attention. The main character, That's right. So sorry, it's coming back to me. So the main character is part of one kingdom, and her older sister is supposed to get married to the prince of this other kingdom, and she's supposed to be like a spy and spy on them. But then when the prince and his guardian come to their kingdom to arrange this marriage, everything changes when he points to our main character and is like, nope, I want her. And everything kind of gets derailed. All of their plans, all of her father's plans, her sister's plans, it all gets completely derailed. She has no idea what she's doing. She was not trained to be a spy. She was not trained to be an assassin. And now she's being like thrust into this marriage and having to fulfill her father's plans, you know? So we're going along, and the prince like will not talk to her. And then the guardian, where was I? So she gets married to this guy. Oh, she's hanging out with the guardian a lot. He's mostly around. Their banter is just really good. It's so fun and interesting. And I'm just going to leave it off there because I went into this one pretty blind and I felt like I really enjoyed it. Question number 2. Best sequel you have read this year so far. I'm going to go with 2 Twisted Crowns, and I kind of hate to just be on repeat, but truly, this was so good. Even if I consider Rides of the Starling, which was the second book of Shield of Sparrows, I did like that one, but I felt like there was a part in it that got really, really slow. This one really was a perfect continuation of One Dark Window, because also there was just still so many questions that were unanswered and so many just things that were left off that this fulfilled, and so it makes this one just outshine the other one. Question number 3, new release that you haven't read yet but you want to. Basically all the books that Kayla recommends, I think her name's Kayla, I'm sorry, she does all these like reels. I'll try to remember to put one up here and show who she is, because I feel like if you saw her face, like, you would know who I mean. She does a lot of reels on Facebook, where I see most of them, and they're on YouTube as well, and I just love her energy. I love the books that she shares. I knew I wanted to read this series anyways, but I think because she was talking about it so much, I ended up going ahead and prioritizing it. And then I also read Shield of Sparrows and Rides of the Starling because of her channel as well. And both of them were absolute bangers. So I feel like any book she recommends now is going to be amazing. So of one of those books is Starside is really at the top. It's getting so much positive feedback. And there's another YouTuber who I think is friends with Kayla, in real life friends, which is so cool. I would absolutely love that kind of dynamic. But anyways, she's also hyping this book up incredibly. And so I feel like this book is one that I really want to prioritize next. Question number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Now, I'm not really sure exactly all the books that are supposed to be coming out for the second half of the year. I don't really go looking for new releases because I just already have so much to read. But I did read Half City by Kate Golden this year, which is touted as a book to read if you're a Buffy fan. And honestly, I didn't really get that vibe except for the female main character, except the female main character has super strength and she hunts demons. And something a little bit about the love interest, but I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I won't go there. But honestly, that's a description for many, many fantasies. I feel like it's kind of piggybacking off of Buffy starting to be trending again. Anyway, it was really good. It was a bit slower than I anticipated. And I think it's because I was expecting for it to have some sort of Buffy vibes. I kept looking for that as I was reading. And I kind of wish that I went into this without having that expectation. Anyway, book 2, I did not get the title of book 2. This second book is actually going to be coming out September 26th, I want to say, and I do want to read it. And I'm excited to see where the story goes. Question number 5, biggest disappointment. And that's going to have to be Alien Echo by Mira Grant. I read her mermaid book Into the Drowning Deep, and I really enjoyed it. I really like the direction that it took mermaids. Now, I don't read a lot of mermaid fantasy. I think I read like one before called Sirens, which was really, really good. But I did read Into the Drowning Deep, and they're like dark, scary mermaid style, not the like pretty Ariel style mermaids. And I think I really like that darker mermaid style, like more the sirens. Also, Mira Grant has this thing about kind of taking in like a scientific and environmentally conscientious into her books, and into the mermaid one and into this one, actually really getting into like the environmental implications. And I think that is such an interesting take on a topic, so I did really enjoy that one. Now, thinking back, I think Into the Drowning Deep was a little bit slow for me at first, and I did have a bit of an issue with the relationship dynamic that she presented in that book. But once the action amped up, I was really invested. So I kind of had that preparation for this one, but no. So the premise, this is a sci-fi horror novel, and it's really not that long at all. You're following these twin girls and their parents who travel from planet to planet for work. One parent is a scientist. I don't really know what kind of scientist. I think like biologist that kind of studies creatures and that sort of thing. And then the other parent is like a botanist. One of the twins is really sickly. They don't really know what is affecting her, but she seems just really weak and tired all the time. And they really worry about her getting suddenly really ill and like needing a doctor. And then I guess she has like these packs or something like that they're having to always replace. But a lot of this is a big motivation behind decisions for this family. Now, the main character feels like she'd really like to belong and socialize with her schoolmates. She also really wants to fall in love with this cute girl at school. And the idea is really good. The idea of the plot and everything is really good, but the execution is terrible. It's dismal. I have so many issues with this book. I think I can cover them all without giving spoilers, so I'll do my best. One, the main character's description of the girl that she likes is probably my biggest issue, because she just is on repeat, and just the number of times that she describes how beautiful this girl is just grates on my nerves. There's never any variation of descriptions for this girl or anything else about her except that she's just beautiful, which kind of makes sense because she doesn't really know her that well, but she's just obsessed with how beautiful she is, I think. And kissing. All she wants to do is kiss her. And maybe this is accurate for someone who is in high school, but like from a reader's perspective, like, please give me more. Or you just don't, like, we understand that she finds her beautiful. Just stop saying it so many times. So many times. I can't even do basic, but the repetition just drives me up the freaking wall. And not only there's that, but also whenever she is on the page, that's all she is. That's all she is pretty. Even when she's on the page, she's like a cardboard cutout for all that she contributes to the story. And then there's this conflict character, this guy who's been friends with the love interest. And excuse me for not knowing their names. There's so many books, so many different characters. I can't always keep their names straight. So anyways, the love interest has this guy friend, and they've been friends since forever. And he is in love with the beautiful cardboard girl. And his jealousy motivates him to be repeatedly violent towards our main character. Like, he physically grabs her and throws her up against the wall, hands around her throat, going back to punch her. Like, kids do not act this way. People do not act this way. Every single time they're on the page, they have some sort of violent outbreak. Like, we don't have to be so dramatic to get the point that he doesn't like her and that he is jealous. So I don't know if this is just the author is underestimating the reader, that we could understand that he has this visceral reaction towards her. I don't know. It's just way too much. And then this interaction, to just make things so much worse, this interaction is witnessed by bystanders, and they just literally stand by and watch all this play out. And they have no reaction. They don't try to stop it. They don't act shocked. They just act like nothing happened. And then he's continuously invited to outings even after this. And the love interest, Cardboard Girl, this is her best friend. And this is also a girl that she's interested in. And she just stands by like a waif. Like she has no reaction to this either. Like any normal person would be like, oh my gosh, I don't know why you're behaving this way. I like her. Can you not act this way? I'm sorry you're not invited anymore. Like, I don't know, something like trying to pull his arm back, like stop trying to hit her. I don't know. Just something. But they literally are just standing there watching it. And it's like, and then as if things couldn't get worse. Oh, don't worry, they can. The main character's mom is watching one of these interactions. And she also says absolutely nothing and does absolutely nothing. I mean, if someone behaved that way towards my kid, I would flip out. I'd be like, you better knock it off right now. You need to get out of here. And then I would have a conversation with my kid being like, do not ever let anyone touch you like that. Don't spend time with that person. Stay far, far, far away from that person. If I have to hear about this, I'm going to go talk to their parents. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do a lot of things because no one's going to lay a hand on my kid. And this mom's just like, does nothing. I think she says something passive about it, and then she disappears. She absolutely just disappears. We don't know where she goes. This mom is like so oblivious. As far as the plot goes, we are also introduced to like a subplot kind of going on, but then it's completely abandoned. The title is called Alien Echo, and I don't quite understand the title because I would say that the primary plot kind of centers around something completely different. I don't want to spoil it just in case you do want to give this book a try. I'm just really not understanding. And the image, like, now that you know that there's twins, when I went into this, I really didn't know, but these girls are supposed to be twins, and they have this, like, eye. So I thought this, let's just say this cover is extremely misleading, as well as the title. And then there is this really big emotional moment, which should be a big emotional moment, but none of the characters it doesn't seem to affect the characters emotionally much at all. This book just feels like a complete and total mess. Maybe it's an editing issue, but this was incredibly disappointing. I had been anticipating this book since before it was released, which was several years. When was it? 2019. Yeah, quite a few years. So I've been really anticipating this book, and then it was just like such a letdown. And I spent more on this book than I ordinarily spend at my used bookstore, but I was just sure that I was going to love this book. And so, yeah, that just adds to the bigger disappointment that this was. So there's that. And then another book I was also pretty disappointed with was Grave Mercy, and I've actually had this book for a really long time. I didn't really know much about this book, except that it's recommended to read if you like Twilight, I want to say. And maybe I need to like investigate that a little bit more, but I don't know where they're going with this. There are 3 more books that I ended up acquiring last year, so I had the whole set so that I could binge read it. And guess what? I didn't really even fully finish this book. I read a huge portion of it and then skimmed kind of it and then finished it. I really didn't like it. It was actually really boring, which is unfortunate. Now, the other books are supposed to take after are supposed to follow different characters, and I've heard that they get better. So I haven't fully DNF'd the entire series. I might give the second book another chance. I might give the second book a chance, but it's been kind of making me like really kind of hold off on wanting to start it because I just did not have fun with this one. So that was really big disappointment because I really wanted to like it. This I would say would be considered like a historical fantasy fiction. Is it even fantasy? I don't even know. This girl starts off in one marriage that's really awful and horrible, and he like hurts her, and so then she's like kind of rescued and whisked away, only to become an assassin and kind of like seek out this womanly revenge kind of thing. And I guess there's like a bunch of other women that also go and do this assassin work, which is kind of cool theoretically, but the execution was boring. All right, question number 6 is your biggest surprise. And this one is Vengeance Road by Aaron Bowman. This is a contemporary romance, which is not my usual go-to. And this is also a Western, which I can't say I've really read many Westerns either. I can't say I've read any Westerns, actually. And I absolutely adored this. I thought it was so fast-paced and fun and interesting. I loved the characters. I loved the plot and the mystery. There's a bit of nostalgic for me as well. This follows our main character who lives with her father, and one day her father gets murdered. Her father once told her, if anything happens to me, go to this guy's house, he'll know what to do. And she's like, okay, this is really weird, but I'm just going to follow the lead. And so she goes out there. Well, this guy's dead too. And what she has left in place, I think, is like his nephew or his son. Then she sets out on this journey for vengeance against this group of gang members who are responsible for the murder. And what she also discovers is this lost history of her mom. Her father's past she had no idea about. It's happening during the gold rush. There's treasure to be found. Like, it's so interesting. I really had a lot of fun with it. And the love interest, the relationship dynamic really had me because it's really subtle. It's really slow burn. And it's really sweet. And then we also have this moment between the characters where they do kind of have this like butting of heads where they see each other's hypocrisy or whatever. And so it kind of causes a rift. And then there's some really, really touching moments. And it actually had me kind of tearing up at the end because you think like, oh, they're never... And I won't go into that. But yeah, I really love this. And like, can we just say, like, what a gorgeous cover. I absolutely love the cover of this book. It's so beautiful. All right, question number 7 is your favorite new author. And I really hate to say that this author is a favorite new author because I've only read like the one book or the one series by this author. But we'll just say that I'm impressed and I want to read more from this author. And that is Rachel Gillig, who wrote this series. Now she has one more book out called The Knight and the Moth. And I really want to read that book. Stephanie, who is the author of The Shield of Sparrows, is also a new to me author. But for whatever reason, I just feel like if I only had to pick one, I would have to pick Rachel Gillig because I think this one just really shown as being wholly unique system through and through. Like, and what I mean is like when you read a lot of fantasy, like a lot of them have some sort of base level mythology that's following. Like for instance, if it's a fae book, like you know certain things will be true because it is following like fae mythology. Or if it's a vampire book, while they take their own twist on vampire lore, certain things will absolutely be true because it's a vampire book. So it leads you with having some sort of foundation, expectation. But this one was so wholly unique. I don't think there's anything like it. And so that really kind of just shone and stood out to me as an author's total creativity of creating something that doesn't exist yet. So that's why it stood out to me, I guess. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. This year I did finish the Fourth Wing series with, I read Fourth Wing at the very tail end of last year, and then this year I finished with Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. And it has to be Xaden Ryerson. It has to be. I tried not to be so incredibly basic and kind of think about some of the other love interests from the other books that I enjoyed. Okay, we kind of have like a demon who's actually a good guy in this story, and I really like him in the dynamic. That's an option. I love the guy from One Dark Window. And I absolutely loved the Guardian from Rights of the Starling. But, did I say Rights of the Starling? From Shield of Sparrows. I absolutely love Shield of Sparrows. The Guardian from Shield of Sparrows. Absolutely love him. But, what is that? Why is that happening? I don't like that. Why would it do that? I didn't ask it to do that. I only just now noticed that. That is so weird. Okay. But really, at the end of the day, nobody compares to Xaden Ryerson. He just outshines them all. I'm sorry. I guess I'm just basic. All right, number 9 is your newest favorite character, and I'm gonna have to go with Mao Mao from Apothecary Diaries. Now, I finished watching season 1 of the anime, and I have read the first manga, and I have the other mangas in digital edition. But Apothecary Diaries is absolutely amazing, and I suggest it to everybody. It takes after his Chinese story, actually, and it's about this girl named Mao Mao who actually, starting out the story, she lives in a brothel, so it might be more for a little bit more mature group. Now, they don't show anything. It's not one of those mangas that like has nudity or anything, but just the concept of like living in a brothel, and it comes and goes throughout the story. It's not its primary focus though. But just so you know, if your kids are interested in watching this one, you need to know. So anyways, Mao Mao actually starts out living in a brothel. Her mother was a courtesan, and she's actually really ill now. And Mao Mao was raised there. She was also taught from this guy, these like apothecary skills. I don't know how else to say that, but she was like taught about herbs and medicines and how to be an apothecary essentially, as well as being taught about poisons. So one day she gets snatched off the street and taken to the palace to serve the palace. And I forget exactly what her job is there, just starting out. But one day Mao Mao gets noticed by Jinshi because there was this incident. And Mao Mao knew what was going on, and she kind of solved the problem. And she did it in a really sneaky way because she didn't want to attract any attention to her. However, Jinshi does notice her and what she did. And so he recruits her to help one of the emperor's ladies who is really ill, which takes her into a whole new position as a poison taster and as one of the, like a lady in waiting. And this is just so funny because there is one episode where she goes to like be a poison taster, and all the other girls are like just terrified at any, like, they have to do their due diligence, they have to taste it, but they could die. And Mao Mao is like, yes, I can't wait. And instead of just doing like one little taste, like she wants to eat it all. But yeah, she absolutely loves poisons, and she gets all excited and she just embraces it, and she talks about how she loves the like tingling of the poison on her tongue, and it's absolutely hilarious, especially when you're watching an anime. Like their eyes, like the expressions that they're able to convey with the anime is just, it just has you laughing out loud so bad. So yeah, so Mao Mao has actually built up this unusual tolerance to it, and so she knows it's like not gonna kill her. But yeah, but this isn't her only job. She does actually, in every episode, she does regularly have a new mystery to help fix, and it always comes down to her knowledge in apothecary and medicines that help her solve the mystery of the episode. So yeah, this is an all-time new favorite manga as well as anime, and I'm gonna have to get Crunchyroll now so that I can watch season 2. Question number 11, a book that made you cry. That's gonna be Vengeance Road. There's actually 2 instances in this that had me kind of tearing up and getting pretty sad, so it has to be this one. All right. Question number 11 is a book that made you happy, and this has to be Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. Sorry, I'm butchering that last name. This book I actually read for my in real life book club, and it was so funny. It's like a cozy mystery, but it takes place in Chinatown, San Francisco, and you're following Vera Wong, who is an older woman. She owns a tea shop. She is grieving the loss of her husband, and also her tea shop is kind of falling into shambles. But through this mystery that happens because this mysterious dead body ends up in her tea shop, she goes around trying to figure out who did it. And through all of that, she kind of finds this found family. And so it's really, really heartwarming. It's absolutely hilarious. I was laughing out loud through the whole thing because Vera Wong, like, this woman has no shame. She thinks she knows better than the police. And this potentially could get her in like a lot of trouble. Like she does a lot of very unconscionable things with tampering with evidence and tampering with a crime scene, but she just is like, well, I know better. Like they're not doing anything. I think that what else makes it such a charming novel is because it's just completely infused with a lot of Asian culture. Like for instance, because she's an older person, and the way respect works within Asian culture is like older people do not owe anyone younger than them respect. And so she just says everything how it is, and everyone's just like, okay, like they were raised to like follow the leader essentially. And so there's this one scene where one of the characters like talks back to her, and everyone's like, oh, you did not, you do not show her disrespect. Like older people cannot be disrespectful. And like I don't know, it was just really funny. I loved that aspect of it too, and like the whole knowledge around tea and the tea house. And I don't know, it's just really, really good. I definitely recommend this book. So I forgot the title of it, but there is a book 2, and I'm excited to continue on with the series. All right, question number 12 is the most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year. And I usually like to share the new books that I bring into my house as well as the ones I've been getting rid of. And I just, because I haven't been making videos, I haven't really been tracking that. But I did go by and put flags in all of my books that I did bring in this year, because I'm going to need to add them to the jar. All right, so I have a few just honorable mentions. I have this one, The Witches at the End of the World. I just think this is such a really cool looking cover. The lighting is not working for me right now. There we go. So it's got these really pretty flowers and stuff, and there's rabbits on here. But I love this like art style, I guess. I will say this one's actually not very pretty, but I was just so excited to pick up this copy, and that is The Will of the Many. And I see this and I just get very excited, not because necessarily it's beautiful, but I just really want to read this book. This one's also going to come up for the next question. Okay, then we have When the Moon Hatched. This is a stunning cover. I'm like 90% sure that I bought this year, but I'm not 100% sure. I might have picked it up at the end of last year. But I want to talk about how just gorgeous this cover is. And I kind of am wanting to do a full vlog reading this book, because I'll be honest, I started reading it and then I was like, oh no, I can't do this book. It's like all for the aesthetics. But then I recently saw one of my favorite YouTubers say that she gave this book a second chance and was like, it's amazing. I love it. Can't wait till the next book comes out. So I want to also give it another chance. This is another one. I think the cover art is just so pretty. It's just really, really colorful. All right, question number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? The first one is Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm about 50% of the way through that book, and I'm definitely going to be finishing before the end of the year because it's the book pick for my In Real Life book club. I will be honest, I'm struggling with it a little bit. I was really hoping I was going to be able to get the audiobook because I hear that that's like the best way to read those series. But I just was not able. My library, I have 2 libraries and neither of them carry it. So that's really unfortunate. The other book I'm reading is Angel Fall. It's under this whole stack of books. I'm not going to move it right now. I'll just post a picture. I'm reading Angel Fall right now too. I'm actually really enjoying this book. So I think I'm going to end up finishing this book by the end of the week. Again, mention this book. I want to read this one. If I'm not getting into it though, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself to read it by the end of the year. I just thought like maybe doing a reading vlog with it would be a really good way to read this book and kind of like reflect on my thoughts and feelings. Will of the Many, just because I'm super duper excited to read this book. And I know there's a second book. I think the second book's out already, or it's supposed to come back out. Or it's supposed to come out. I'm not really sure, but this has been getting like so many good reviews. Like I haven't heard a single bad thing about it, so I'm hoping I'll really like it. And then finally, I would love to get into The Way of Kings series. I have the first 3 books. mass market paper books like this, but ugh, it's so thick. All of these books are so thick. For whatever reason, in my head, it feels like a fall kind of book, as does Will of the Many, and I think it's just because they're like so thick. Like, why is it that like fall is your time to read like really thick books? I don't know. Those are the books I would like to read by the end of the year. And finally, that concludes this video. I've been interrupted during this video so many times, too many times to count. It's ridiculous. So, alright guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope I keep posting.